Hi, welcome back to the Frappe Podcast. My name is Foram, I'm your host, and today I have Vikram Seth with me. Vikram is the founder of Software at Work, he's been running for 34 years now. It's a company that offers software services for like ERP, accounting software, CRM, you name it. They do all of it. How are you feeling? Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
How's your work going?
Good. So I've basically we are starting something new now,
Oh,
and so it is around our current business, but it's got a little different flavor.
can I ask what
Yeah.
it is?
So basically, it's called Software Hunt,
Okay.
and so what we realized is over these 3 decades is that customers have adopted business software much lesser than they should have, and so there's some problem over there. And then we analyzed and realized that there is not enough assistance being given to customers. So basically, when a customer wants software, he is in a sales situation, and there's a sales guy who is chasing him. So he doesn't really have access to expertise or any consultative guidance. So Software Hunt is basically consultative selling, and so it's about helping businesses find the right business software, but it's not about selling. It's
Okay.
not about like I want to sell you software A, so I have to convince you. It's about understanding your challenges and then proposing.
Right. So like you'll get a customer, but you'll only talk to them about what their actual needs are and not like propose any.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like a doctor that you never start with the medicine, you start
Mm.
with the challenge. So first you try and understand what's the challenge, and then you come to the medicine. So rather than in typically your medicine comes first. Okay, this is a medicine, have it, it's good for you. So it's just kind of a different way.
Yeah, and that's interesting, and it's actually pretty logical actually to do that because you're telling them, yeah, I understand your needs first, and
Right,
then saying that we have these
right.
on offer
So we've done this unconsciously
before
most
also.
of the time, but it's just that we are positioning it, so that we help them.
So is this going to be implemented at Software at Work also, and are you going to do it
So
together?
yeah, actually this is more a mindset. Now we are creating a company, so it will be implemented first as Software Hunt, as it's a different entity, it has a different
Okay.
team, and they will go with that mindset. Whereas historically, a sales guy goes with a traditional mindset that I have to sell this software, I have this target,
Mm.
and I have to get it into the
Yeah.
customer's system. So it's more of a mindset. It is a bit challenging because it is productizing consultation. Okay, so typically consultation is costly. So SMEs don't have IT teams, they don't have CTOs, etc. But they need consulting. Now between the costly consulting and the sales guys, this sits somewhere in the middle where we are productizing it, where there should be virtually no cost or a
Right.
very low cost.
Been kind of doing this before because you've mentioned to me that you look for fit over force, right? So you've said that you have rejected customers because
Yes,
they're not the right fit, and you won't be able to give them the best thing that
right.
they need.
So we believe that choosing your customers is very important. The customer feels he is the one choosing you, but actually you are also choosing
Choosing
him.
them, yeah.
So in the SME, if you choose a wrong customer, maybe even in enterprise, if you choose the wrong customer, you're going to suffer, he's going to suffer,
Mhm.
no one's going to be happy. So for us, we kind of we tell the customer upfront. And we've had a case where a customer was very obliged. He was very thankful that you didn't give me and you told me
Oh,
no, because they're not used to it. They're
mm.
just used to okay, I'll give you something.
Of
So
course, yeah.
people appreciate it, and in fact, that is what consultative selling is about. That if you are not able to fit him into your offering, you tell him this is going to be a challenge.
Makes sense.
So both are happy.
Do you want to like zoom out a little bit and tell us how you started Software at Work in the first place, and what's your journey been while studying and deciding to do this?
While I was graduating, I was doing my BCom at Sydenham. So, computers were just starting to come in, and I wanted to learn programming. So, that time there was basic. So, we had to go and, hire out computers. And, that time a PC was costing 1.5 lakh. I'm talking
Oh,
about 80 to 83, 84.
so you were renting computers
So,
just
I had
like
to
per
hire
hour.
it out on an hourly basis
Hmm.
and from someone, and learn on my own. I did a course, but I had to actually sit on it. And 1.5 lakhs in 80 to 83 must be like
Yeah, a
more
lot.
4 5 lakhs
Yeah,
of
yeah.
now. So that's how we started, and then my dad told me you do CA, so I did it. But that interest in programming, and then there was DBase was and FoxPro came in, which was for that time what we call low code, no code, lower code rather. And so that's how it started. And then after I started my CA, I did my articles at AF Ferguson, which is now part of Deloitte. And we were auditing companies like Mahindra, Hindustan Lever and all. And everything was automated. There was software. I mean, it was a given. And after I finished it, and I wanted to work with a smaller firm for tax and stuff like that, and I realized that these guys don't have any software. So the tax consultancy which I joined, they were struggling to implement software, and they were running manual and computer. And I said, why are you doing this? So by default, I got involved in the implementation.
Because you
so
were already
I
interested.
had
Yeah.
that interest. So in the late 80s, early 90s, there was no internet when we started our business. There was no mobile. And so the first thing we could get our hands on was a pager. So that's been how things progress. So that's a journey which I saw that there's a big gap, and people are running manual systems, and software is not adapted. Now, surprisingly, I can say that even today,
The software is not
30
adopted well
years
enough.
later, people are doing it manually. People are doing many things, paper based. So
Which is insane to think of. Like, so many things have changed. So many, like, without no internet versus
absolutely.
access to literally anything you want.
So, if you see, WordStar was, I think, released somewhere in the early 90s. And the main use case for WordStar then was printing expense reports and submitting it to, the office. And I think till today that's on.
Oh, so they
so
so many things haven't changed also. And
many things
yeah.
haven't changed. And when it changes now in this post AI era, it is going to change very drastically.
But are people going to accept it? Because like for accounting at least, people like to stick to the old things. They like to stay within the limits of
Right.
how they've always done things.
Right. So, accounting by its nature, nothing changes. Debit, credit, balance sheet, everything is fixed. There's no change. In tech, everything changes every day. So, accountants by nature, they resist change because, they are not used to things changing. So, they if they are happy with us doing it on a spreadsheet, they will do it.
Even if it's a little more work,
Yeah,
they'll
they
do
will
it.
not bother about, okay, how do I automate this, So, that's why in accounting and business software, things are a little slower.
We have the tools to change it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we're just not able to push it
tools are
hard
there. In fact,
enough.
with Frappe, ERPNext is free. No one knows about it.
Yeah.
So it just surprises me that ERP was always traditionally very costly, and today it's free and still it's not known.
Yeah, and you've been an ERP person since I think people started adopting it in the country, right? Almost back
so
then.
we started with accounting software, and Tally has been something we have been working with even right now. But we saw the customers who outgrew Tally, they were going in for an SAP or something, and I realized why should we not have something to give them. So I started this journey of the ERP space, and we did SAP Business One, we did Dynamics Navision, it was that time, and I saw that we did implementation, but it didn't fit in the Indian price and usage context. So I was on the lookout for something, and after so many years, ERPNext Frappe was what actually
That was
met
in the
that.
early versions. You must have found it much earlier than V16 now.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. So that time I used to think ERPNext free software, it's all just a hobby. It took me a while to kind of
Take it seriously.
So, and there was a risk in kind of offering it to a customer because you didn't know where it will head. But today, after almost 300 implementations now, it's a given. We know it's as good as anything else. So
like the stereotype doesn't go away that free might not be
Yeah.
as serious. Yeah.
So I was telling someone the other day that Frappe's biggest asset is, I mean, it's the USP is that it's free, but the biggest challenge is also it's free, because if I tell someone it's free, he won't believe it, and there are too many questions. So you have to hide your biggest, USP.
Offering that we're literally free and not even per user price for cloud.
So
Yeah.
it's a big challenge. How do you get that across?
I also wanted to ask you that exact time or that story where you took the decision to start the company in the first place?
So we actually started customizing software. That time was DBase Fox Pro, and we took up a project for customized inventory system for a textile manufacturer, and it went on and on and on. It never ended, and customer kept changing the requirements and debugging, and so I felt this is not scalable. And that's when there was a big company in India which launched product accounting software, and so we said let's check it out, and I gave it to a neighbor of mine to use, and then when we started implementing it, it didn't work.
No.
So he told me, what do I do? I said, don't worry, I'll replace this and give you something that works. So that's how we met with Tally. And when we implemented it, it worked, and I said, this is great.
It's a good business to start off
So
with.
that was around 91, and so I said, so gradually we moved into product implementation and reduced customization.
How do you even get the word out that this is what we're doing now? Like this, we have a business and this is what we're offering. How did you get the word out back then?
Well, actually, it was, that time there was no social media. There was, it was, you actually had to call people, cold calls. You had flyers, brochures. You had maybe newspaper ads. And, all these things were there then.
We've also spoken about growing slowly but steadily, and how you were mentioning that you were okay with that.
Two things are there. I was doing something I enjoyed, so there was no hurry. If I met a customer, I could understand their challenge and give them a solution, and it worked. That was my satisfaction. So I didn't need to, do anything very fast. The second thing, in the 90s, pirated software was very prevalent. So, buying licensed software was a big challenge. And, let's say whether it's a Tally or something, you got it pirated. So we had to compete with free. And somehow, we struggled. So it was a slow process. You couldn't, do anything fast. And it's only now, maybe after 2000 and after GST came, that people realized that you need regular updates. You can't use pirated software. So now it is picking up, and so it was slow. There was no choice.
There was no choice. Yeah, I think that is the part that's interesting, because if you see right now, first everybody wants to become an entrepreneur and they want to do it fast. Like there's so much hustle culture, and if you're not doing it fast enough, you're unsuccessful.
Right.
But there was no notion of that back then.
Right. Money should be an outcome of something you enjoy doing. It should not be the goal. And if it is the goal, then you are in that hurry, in that urgency. And with social media, there's a lot of FOMO all over the place. So you have to actually do your thing, what you enjoy it. And as long as you're enjoying it and it is getting you, adequate compensation, I think you should be happy.
Yeah, it that is ideal, but right now it's so overcrowded in every single market that it's just difficult to win.
Right.
So I think that is a part that creates a difference. Like we did not have the luxury. Right now we don't have the luxury of taking it easy.
Right.
If you do, somebody else is going to do what you do and do it faster and better.
So I feel now with AI now is going to be a trigger. SASS is like the landline, and AI is going to be like the mobile moment, So it's going to just take it over, and there's going to be a huge demand. There's going to be a huge adoption. So I think now is the time. I'm really interested, to be in this era. Being from the previous era, it's very encouraging to see how times changed, and now I think there will be. See, software was always a push-based thing. You have to make a lot of effort. Today also to sell software, you got to go show demos, and you have 3 months of a selling cycle. But it should be different, and it will be different now, where the customer will go and buy what he wants. So today it's a laptop or a mobile. You don't have to go and sell it. Whoever wants it goes and buys it, So we are reaching that era in software where customer will say, just, I want to buy this. I need it. There's no, there's no long selling process. So that's very interesting time we are in.
Yeah, and exciting, and also a little scary, I guess, right?
Yeah, so it goes together. Adventure is adventure.
Yeah, like if a boom is going to happen, everybody's going to have to prepare for too much interest.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of software, and it'll be very disruptive. But that's how things are.
Yeah, there's so many, like a lot of my friends who work in companies for the US. There's so many AI the small AI companies who get funding so easily because the boom is like imminent,
Right.
according to most people.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. 34 years is a very, very long time. And has there ever been a part where you've gotten unmotivated or bored or, and had to take a break to see what you wanted to do?
I have run my business almost like a hobby, wherein it was, if I enjoyed doing it, I did it. Otherwise, I couldn't do it. So there were times, which I could quantify, would have maybe run in a longer than a year, where I, felt okay, now, I've done this. I'm not interested.
Oh,
And luckily, we had a team, and they continued while I, sat back. Then I tried to re-engage. So that's how we started. We started a CRM practice. We had a separate team. We were doing CRM for a few years. Then we, started the ERP, Microsoft Dynamics. We did that for some years. So whenever I got bored, I, looked at
new
what
software.
next. What next? So these are the three areas. Those 2-3 areas we've been using. So that got me interested. And so fortunately, the Tally team was able to run on its own for all these times, because when I set up a new team, I was away. I was not involved in the day-to-day activities of the Tally team. So, you have to set up a new team. You have to be involved, in customer meetings and setting up the whole process. So, I found that interesting. Once it went into routine maintenance mode, I was out. So again, that's why I'm setting up something new, because, whatever is running, then the team is handling it. I would like to set up something new.
Like one new challenge after another.
Yeah.
But like, did it also motivate you that the fact that you had built all these teams, and they were running so well, and the company is doing so well, did it also motivate you to keep doing more?
So for me, building the team was incidental. If work came in, I needed a team.
Okay.
It was more about what I wanted to do. So the team was there, and if they were doing it, they are doing it. So I would, if I had in my mind to build a team, I would have been 2x, 3x in size in terms of, manpower or company size, but that was not the goal. So that was incidental.
And it's still pretty great. Like, I think there are 70 plus people on your team, right now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that mindset, actually, just to like, if as long as you're having fun.
Yeah.
And everybody else on the team, I'm guessing. Yeah.
And it may not be, as large as you want, but that's not the goal. I mean, it can be, you can scale up a team, you can, but for me, that's monotonous. I would not want to get into maintenance mode, or, just kind of, I'm a very early stage person.
Yeah, very entrepreneurial spirit.
Set up early stage and give it off.
It's fun to be at in a startup phase.
Right.
You get to do everything at once.
Right.
And like even people, like young people, they're recommended to work in a startup at least once, so they get to have so much responsibility and ownership of their work that they can handle anything else like going forward, even if it's a very specific role.
So entrepreneurship is about, solving a problem. It's not about making money. You have to see a gap, and you should be really, passionate about how do I solve this problem for my customer. So that's what it is, and that's what our new software hunt is about. How do I solve a customer's problem in today's context?
Right.
When software is free, or AI is coming in, so the game is still on. It's it's just interesting. Otherwise, in many industries, 30 years, the industry is all virtually over.
Okay.
But we are in a place where
you joined in the very beginning, so software is nowhere near ending.
Yeah, so even now we are getting, actually we are getting to the stage where things will really get driven.
Yeah, there's going to be a push, and like I think we're also thinking about how best to market ourselves, or best to position ourselves, what to offer, how many products. We have so many new products also.
I know, right?
It's exciting, and like I think hopefully everything will go great.
Yeah. I'm sure.
So after all these like years implementing ERPs, do you have a favorite one?
Favorite ERP? Of course, it's ERPNext.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to say that because this is a Frappe podcast.
No, I mean, it's not because of that. But I would think, what Frappe has done with ERPNext is unparalleled. Okay, to sustain a business for so many years and be open source, unlike diluted open source solutions which are also available. It's unparalleled, it's unprecedented, and so it's, for me, it's an example of what is possible, and I don't think it will be easily replicable in the future.
Same thing about software at work, right? You have grown with the times. Like you said that you had customers like Jet Airways and Samsonite, and when they grew out of Tally, you adopted more and more
Right.
like bigger software for them.
So that's why, see, customers, they want something that works. For them, brands and all are, secondary. So they want a solution, and for them, the software is secondary. The solution is more important. Can you solve my problem? So that's where a trust factor comes in with a partner. That the trust is more on the partner rather than on the product.
Okay.
And so that's where we are placed.
Suppose Zoho is a very like household brand.
Customers comes and asks us which is a good software.
Hmm.
Now, good software depending on what your problem is.
Hmm.
So if your problem is different, your software, match will be different.
Right.
So you cannot start with a generic statement. So whether I need a two-wheeler or four-wheeler or a sedan or an SUV, it all depends what is my use case. Same with software. A certain software may be very good in a certain context, but not for another customer. So that's where software, we are trying to match that part. Okay, there's no single software, which is good for everyone. A Tally may be ideal in a certain scenario, or an ERPNext may be better in a certain scenario. So the pain and the challenge is what actually needs to be matched, and that is where customers don't have the time or the skill to kind of do a diagnostic. And that's why that is something pre-software buying is a diagnostic, where you get into the problem statement. You may spend couple of days. You may we charge the customer many times for doing a diagnostic and tell us, across the teams, we collate the challenges, and then we start evaluating.
Yeah, I mean, people, suppose when buying a laptop, they put in the research because this is one big system they're going to be using for a very long time. But I don't think customers, like, that's what they ask you to do, is to find them the right software.
Yeah, so in now coming back to the laptop scenario, most laptops will give you the same outcome. Okay, the features are similar, but that's why software is under adopted, because it's complicated to buy. If I buy a software and if I do a requirement analysis, I may have a 50 or 100 line item checklist, which I have to do internally based on my business needs, which are unique. So I have to prepare that list. I have to figure out my challenges, then map that to the product. In case of laptop, is easy, I can, it's all the same, 5-6 parameters and you're done. Buying a car, buying a phone, it's easier. So those B2C scenarios are easier, and B2B is complicated. That's why customers hesitate.
Yeah, because high effort also to do this, but also eventually we'll have a very long-term high outcome for them.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt,
and assumptions.
Yeah. So that's where there's a bit of a hesitation.
What are the biggest assumptions that you've seen customers have about ERPs?
So there are a lot of myths about ERP, and in this post Frappe era, a lot of them have collapsed. So first of all was ERP is costly. That is the general statement. And if I go on Google and I say I am a small manufacturer in Bombay and I want an ERP, it'll show me NetSuits and SAPs, which are all 50 lakh plus. So actually, Google is, sold out. It has not even figured out what I'm saying.
Results run on ads
and if a customer goes in that path, he's going to get misled. So what is happening is that today, ERP is not cheap, it's free. We have forget. I mean, we have come from an era where ERP is costly. So we have gone past that era, beyond cheap and now to free. So that is one of the big myths. The second myth is that ERP is very complicated, and there is an element on that because you're talking multiple departments, and when you go across departments, that's where the team has to, the employees or the management of the company has to figure out what they want. So that was one issue, that it was complicated,
Yeah.
but it is overcomplicated by the customer's expectation.
Yeah, because they have such unrealistic expectations
Right.
that it should solve every single problem at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in that scenario comes a sales guy who has got a sales target, and he tries to meet the unrealistic expectation of the customer, where the mistake starts. So when we go to a customer, our job is not to meet his unrealistic needs, but to show him the reality. If we cannot do that, we leave the customer.
Okay. Yeah,
So
because
my
you
job
can't.
is
Yeah.
to show him what I can give him in 3 months. Okay, and SME is in 3 months you're pass or fail. You don't get 2 years.
Yeah.
In enterprise, 2 years later, they are still implementing, and they'll say, okay,
They have the
we got.
monetary bandwidth to handle that.
So they
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah.
In the SME, 2 months, 3 months, if you're not out with a satisfied customer, you're failed. So, it's like a sprint.
Yeah, plus like over promising and under delivering is not
Right.
the ideal situation. You should
Right.
like
And
set
most
expectations.
salesmen in the ERP industry are struggling to meet their targets. So what are they going to do? They are going to dump it down the customer's throat. And the customer is not skilled enough to figure out what to do. If he sees 3 solutions, ERP, CRM, he is lost. He has no clue of the differences. So he is going to get misled. So software is there's so much overlap. And this I'm talking pre-AI era.
Okay.
Today, if I tell you 4 solutions, they are all overlapping so much for anyone to decipher what is the difference is a task. So that's where the whole challenge becomes.
And if one doesn't work out for them, they're just going to be put off from the other 3 as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So people are gone through failures and they are scared now. They bought the wrong software. Now they are scared for get the next one, whether it'll work or not. So they go back to the safety of the spreadsheets and
Yeah, or like
other.
SAP or like Tally, like something they're very used to, they'll go back to that.
Yeah, that's safe zone. So
If an implementation goes well, if you know the customer, what they need, why do they still fail even if the product is good and even if the implementation goes relatively well?
at the time of the sale, if you have misjudged the customer requirement, if you have given him wrong expectations, their failure begins there. The failure is due to the partner actually, not the customer, because the customer is uneducated. It is our job as a partner to make sure that we don't take the wrong customer or the customer doesn't take the wrong solution from us. So failure starts right from there. And then there are a lot of issues within the customer end. Let's say there's a lot of resistance from employees. Okay, so if there's a company with 200 employees who says, I want to get an ERP, there's going to be a huge challenge of change management. If there are 15, 20 people, it's easy. So that's where the management has to actually be involved. You cannot outsource this to some employee that okay, take this ERP and implement it.
Okay.
So within the organization, there has to be buy-in from the top management. There has to be project management from the client side, because departments are involved. If I'm talking one department, it's simple. I know these are the 3 guys. But when you're doing the whole process, you need to have good communication. The second thing is that a software cannot fix a broken process. Okay, so there's a manual process, then you fix software on it. So if you don't have a process, your software will fail. That means if you don't have a railway track, the train is not going to run.
Yeah.
So you need to set the track first. So that's where customers make a mistake. They think that buying a software will fix the process. And there are 2 challenges. First, you set the process, then you get the software. So that's where people get confused. And we tell them first you set the process manually, then
And
it's
then see
easier
if a
to
software fits in. Yeah. Like you
And-
can't fit yourself to a software. It's easier to do it the other way around.
See, in SMEs, they are challenged. They are short of time, manpower. So they also don't have very fixed processes. So it is unrealistic for us to expect that, they will have a very organized process. So that's how the game is, that's the nature of the animal. You have to be dynamic, set the process, set the software.
I do want to come back to that employee point. Like, don't you think it's important for the employees to buy in first? Because they're the ones who are going to be logging in more, using the software more and more.
No, employees need not buy in. See, let's say an accountant is there. Okay, he has got a task to balance his books of accounts, do his compliance. He's concerned with that. He's doing it on Excel. Now you tell him, take some software. he's not going to trust your software.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, he's not sure first of all, he has to do duplication. When he's implementing the software, he has to run the old process, then he has to do the new process.
Check if it's the same.
So they are going to reject it.
Yeah.
That is why ERP comes in, where there is top management realizes they have to override the users.
Okay.
If you wait for users and ask the user, oh, what software you want, he's happy with his spreadsheet. He will never want to change. That is where the top management ERP, where it comes in, where the management realizes I have to override. I want my reports. I am not concerned with the convenience of my user, what he is happy with. If I am not getting what I want, I'm going to change it.
Oh, that's really interesting, because recently, like a couple of days ago, I have a friend who knows about Frappe, and he's a system manager at a company, at a hospitality company. They have a lot of restaurants across Mumbai, and his management doesn't think that it's necessary, but he does. So as a user, he was the one who pushed to have the software on board.
That's an unusual case. Typically, it's the management, and most managements get diluted in their interest when the users don't support them. But you can't wait for that, because you're as top management, you have to kind of you have to get information on your fingertips.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with the top-down management system in the first place, but I'm assuming taking a decision rather than waiting for everybody to buy in is a little more streamlined.
See, earlier you could do guesswork. It was not so competitive. You could manpower was more stable. Everything was more easy. Now, manpower is unstable. Manpower cost is rising. Software cost is falling. So we are in a situation where, it makes sense to get the software and set it up.
And since we're talking so much about free software also, I want to know your take on open source. Did it affect your decision? Because you're at Software at Work, there are both open source and licensed software that you're offering to your customers.
So again, the most important thing is the need. Can I understand your challenge, and I will then suggest you the right solution. Being free is not so important. The customer says, I have a problem, fix my problem. Whether it's free or paid comes secondary. So I cannot go and say, buy it free, it's free, take it. Because even if it's free, there's a huge cost implication for the customer. He has to feed data.
Exactly.
He has to spend time implementing it. And if that fails, that cost is on him. So that is why free is not so important. But when you realize that it is free, it can alter your decision, and it should.
The risk is lower, right?
Yeah, risk is lower.
When you offer, suppose, a ERPNext versus Odoo to a customer, will it be open, so like free or not free based, or will it just be quality based, or will you consider both?
I see today an ERPNext can give me quite a lot of stuff. So as a user, I would want to start with free. Why should I pay? I am not an enterprise that I have some complicated needs. Sometimes they are overcomplicated by the users.
Yeah.
Now, our job as a partner is to simplify it. That, what we follow is rapid implementation, gradual customization. You don't start customizing on day one. So it's like if you've seen B2C today, very rich man, he buys a car. He doesn't change the engine and the dimensions. He may change the paint. He may change 15-20%. You don't go and change everything. So we tell the customer, you're growing, your business is adapting to a changing requirement. Start with something. So I would say free is absolutely makes sense. And if it doesn't work, obviously you can, you go and pay. But the problem is you go and pay a lot of money and that doesn't work.
But then you're on a bigger loss than you started off at.
Yeah.
So, and we understand this, but people don't really get this, that much.
So customers, that's why, see, if they go on Google, they are lost in the jungle and they are misled. That's where the situation is. That's why Google is now virtually, going to be outdated. It's already outdated.
Yeah, at the top of your Google search result, now there's an AI overview. Then you see the paid ads, and then you see the actual results that you searched for.
Right.
Which means you have to scroll for like 5 seconds before getting to what you actually need.
Right.
And many people, including myself, I would just look at the AI overview and believe it.
So typically a person's solution on Google may be on page 7 or 8, but he will never reach there.
Never, yeah. 7, 8 is like out of question.
Yeah. So it's like, you're going to a doctor and asking, how many medicines do you have?
He's like, I'm sponsored by this, maybe try this.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how many solutions are there. There may be 500 more. It doesn't matter. I'm only concerned about solving your problem. Tell me your problem.
Yeah, I mean, the doctor thing is a very good example because I've never seen a doctor's office without like sponsored pens or notepads or anything.
Right.
I'm sure it affects the way they
Right. So Google
prescribe.
follows a chemist model. Everything is there. You decide what you want. And a customer is not competent to decide, like in a doctor. So in a scenario of a doctor, the customer knows, that's the way to go. But in B2B, they're still a little.
Yeah, like for people looking for other search engines, there's this one called DuckDuckGo, which is completely private, no ads, nothing. I
Right.
use that. I've been told by somebody at Frappe only introduced me to it.
Right.
So yeah.
And see, there are platforms like G2, etc., internationally, which are very successful. So they are again throwing a lot of information to the customer's face. He has to figure out, he has to read 50 reviews, he has to find out, and customers don't have that time. At least in India, they prefer to pick up the phone and talk to someone. So some of those things which work, internationally will need to be adapted here.
Right. How has it been being a part of the Frappe ecosystem? How long has it been?
I would say, I think 7-8 years. So it's been great for us, for us to still figure out that software can be free and it can run. Sometimes it's still it takes a while to understand, people to figure it out. I've spoken to my friends in the IT industry, and even after a year, they ask me, how is it free? Every 6 months, they ask me, how can they be free?
Like how does Frappe make money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Frappe has done, as I said, it is not going to be replicable easily, the way they have done it and the time they have taken, because they had time. Today time is not available.
Yeah,
And
time is the
so,
most expensive thing.
yeah, so software may be free, but tomorrow there may be even 500 free applications. Then what do you do? Today we got just a handful, and Frappe may be very unique in that offering. So
but
today it's easy.
But you have to be the best one then, not just the
Who's
most
the best?
free
Now,
one.
when
Yeah.
you get 500 open source,
Yeah,
solutions,
who's
which will
the
you buy?
best? Yeah.
So there's a problem of plenty.
But yeah, it's inevitable. I think we're just lucky to be in the beginning of it, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I don't know about affordability. It's not easy to be like, this will always remain free no matter what, and you don't
Yeah.
even have to host it with us.
Everything's going to change in 5 years. The rules will change. So today is today. We are there today. Let's make the most of it. And I learned this from the Frappe team, that you can hire a young fresher and, in 6 months, he could be implementing ERP. And we have 25-year-olds who are implementing it, and they're doing a great job. So that also has collapsed, where you need to have, suited, booted, someone with a tie
Too
and a
much
suit.
training.
Yeah, and a lot of experience. You don't need that. So everything has changed. It's 25-year-olds are doing it. I think it's fantastic.
I think there are so many resources also available now. Like anybody who joins Frappe, they have to give evaluations on ERPNext.
So I've learned things from Frappe is that, how you all have such a young team in ERP, which is unprecedented. And, mostly the hiring is happening at the fresher level,
Yeah, most of our team is, I think, hired when they just have left college.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the passion and enthusiasm that I see in your team is amazing.
Like we have like so many people just handling a whole product on their own.
Right.
Yeah, and even I feel it's quite incredible to feel like people are really motivated and people really like what they do.
So Frappe as a company is a case study. Also, the way Rushabh has been, working on unusual concepts like, the democracy and stuff like that. So it's quite a case study, and it has challenges because, you're in unknown territory. But I keep watching, and, I think there's something to learn from there.
Yeah, and that one's surprising for every generation, I think. Like, picking your own pay or picking your own work is just
so
much
even
freedom.
having a mindset of giving free software, you can't be, if you aren't confused, you had left it. You have to be very clear. 15 years into your company, you're still very clear that it's free. It's a different level of clarity.
Yeah.
And we have seen companies which were earlier pure open source have now moved away. So they've changed their thinking.
Were there any such learnings for you also in your journey with software at work, where you're more confident about certain things now?
You have to again, you have to be confident about what you want and what you can deliver. And you have to kind of, we're in a customer situation. So our job is to guide the customer, and so we have to use that experience rather than just being in fulfillment mode.
And what is the biggest thing that has changed for you since you started versus now sitting here?
Your purpose and your clarity of your goal just gets clearer and clearer. And now that happens if you're fortunately on the right path. Otherwise, you keep changing tracks. So I think if you keep your focus, if you keep your clear principles, then that keeps you going.
And you feel like after 3 decades, like your purpose is fulfilled, like you're there where you want it to be.
No, so if I see the problems and the opportunity, it is even bigger than it was, 3 decades. So it's even bigger. So there's an enthusiasm. How do we fix it? There's still the game is on.
Which is great. Like, but there must be this feeling, of excitement that I did something interesting, something that people were not doing back then.
Yeah. So see, there are two sides to it. On the other side, you think this is an endless game. You play it till you want, then you change your game. You go to another game. So this game is going on. As long as you want to play it, you play it. Otherwise, one day you change your game. So, in traditional sense, people call it retiring. But actually, it's promotion, You're changing your game. You've chosen different game.
Yeah, choosing to do something that's not fueled by finances, at least.
You played a game, you enjoyed it, it's over, now you want another game.
That's such a fun thought. You're never retiring. You're just
you don't retire. You just you change your environment. You look for something else, and that is what is needed to drive you. You need something, a purpose that is bigger than you.
Yeah, and even if you switch, like now you have a legacy of a team who is just going to keep continuing doing this, and when they want to move out, they can move out and do their own thing.
Yeah. So in fact, this AI era is having more creators. It is going to have many more creators, people who will be able to offer value on their own.
Yeah, and AI has made it very easy to do anything, write, generate images. Like people do whole product photo shoots without ever picking up a camera.
So there are going to be challenges. See, today we are happy using AI, but today if I use AI, the same a 20-year-old with AI can do it. So there's a saying that you won't be competing with AI, you will be competing with a 20-year-old using AI. So the whole system collapses there. That let's say I have 30 years experience, but today a 20-year-old with an AI
is going to do the same thing.
He can do the same thing. So that is very disruptive. So I see a lot of challenge. There is going to be both, but there's going to be challenges in.
Yeah, I think a similar thing happened with like merit. Like you went to this college, so you got this job. I think that notion has gone away recently. Right. Like you have the qualifications, you are smart, you're able to handle this work, then you get the job. Right. Like at least a lot of places I see that degrees are not that important anymore, except for like suppose JPMC or Deloitte, where they'll see your degree.
Right.
But like many new and modern companies, they don't care. And I think this is just another version of that, like where one part of something you've invested in has gone.
So creating new stuff is, you can do it at 20 or maybe a little earlier also. So that is something unheard of. Earlier, until your 30s or late 30s, you couldn't get into that position. Today at 20, you can do something which a 40-year-old was doing.
I think it's more also about the access of resources that we have right now. Like there are literally 16-year-olds who have, started multiple companies, or people who have just done so much because there are so many resources. Like, I won't say the hard work is less, but I'll also say that there are more ways to get it done than before.
Right. So I have another point on AI.
Yeah, please go for it.
So, in the pre-AI era, we had manpower, plus you had to buy software, and you were hoping for an outcome. There was no guarantee of that outcome. Okay, you thought you will get it, but there could be a failed outcome. In the post-AI era, you are reducing manpower, you have software, and your outcome is sure. Okay, so the equation changes. On one side, manpower is gone, and on the other side, outcome is certain.
Yeah, because you have unlimited amount of chances.
You're paying for outcomes. So in the AI era, you won't pay for software. You will pay for outcome. And after replacing software. So actually software and AI is going to compete with manpower. Okay, earlier it couldn't replace it, it diminished manpower, it enhanced productivity. But today it is going to replace and give you a guaranteed outcome.
But do you think like entire systems can be replaced with just AI?
It's heading that way. So, let's say a calculator was, invented 50 years back. Even 50 years later, calculator does the same.
Yeah.
But once AI comes in, it's learning and it's growing every day. So you cannot even imagine in 5 or 10 years where it will be, because it's progressing.
Yeah.
And at a certain point of time, it will not, it will not need us.
Yeah, and there's this like I think you're right, because there's this thing called vibe coding where people are making entire apps just by telling ChatGPT that I want to make an app. It should look like this. Make it on this database. Done.
And so vibe coding too will be, I'll say, go and see, look at that software and make me a
Make the
copy.
same
It'll
thing.
understand all the rules, the whole algorithm.
Probably can do that right now also.
So it's very disruptive.
Yeah, it's scary also. Like I feel like the more information we give
So
to AI.
while there is an initial euphoria and happiness, but behind that is
it's a very
heavy
easy thing to
stuff.
get sucked into, like to be so enamored by the fact that it's so easy to get answers from AI.
So we've never had technology that fully was able to replace
people,
humanity. Okay, it was always so much little productivity, little, and we were chasing that. Today it is gone, full replacement mode.
I'm guessing the max it went was like automation. Like why do we use software? Because it automates our regular processes, right? That was the max it was before. Now,
but it's been very slow. Like we had DBase or Foxtrot, which we call low code. Okay, after C++, DBase and Foxtrot were low code. In 30 years, nothing much has happened. Now today we are going towards no code and AI, where you just get what you want. So in the context of software, we will have mass customization. There will be you drum up what you want for your business. You don't need to kind of buy something off the shelf. So it's going to be huge. So it's like if I can give an analogy, it's like on Diwali you go to burst a bomb. Okay, you're excited that something will happen, but you light that and you have to run for it. Okay, you got to run, because if you are there, you're going to get hurt. So there's excitement and there is fear. Everything is getting into.
But you keep yourself in a safe space also.
So you have to run, when you need to.
That's why
So
interesting.
you know that there's a risk. You know that there is going to be discomfort, but still you go and light that bomb.
This has been great. Thank you so much. Like I think we went quite a lot into ERPs and SMEs and AI also now. But there's one question I do want to end with, which is, if you could go back and tell your younger self when you were starting out one thing, what would it be?
At my age now, it's more about the present. So when you're younger, everything is about the future. Something will happen in the future. You do this, and future. At my age, it's about today. So past and future becomes a little less important, and it's about today. That it is not in the future. What am I doing today? And is there something? Is there have I reached the goal today? And if I have to reach that today, there's no tomorrow. There's no past. So that's one thing I've noticed, is that you become more in the present. When you're younger, you're in the future, because you feel there's a huge
there's so much time
there's
to do
a future
anything,
left. So today the beauty of it is that you come into the present moment and you figure out what is important right now. So that's why you start behaving differently. You don't you don't have you have different choices. You behave differently, because that's more important.
That's actually encouraging, because like I've always wondered if like a few decades down the line, if I'm going to be stuck on looking at the failure, success, or events of the past in general, but like it's more about
there's
living,
a book on that, the power of now. So it's actually about the present, and I think even at your age, or for any person, you should focus more on the present, because the future and past are fictional. and they can distract you from the present, which is not fictional.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So actually being in the present and trying to,
Hmm.
whatever you are, if you want happiness or bliss, it has to be in your present.
That's fair. That makes sense. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Great
being
to
on
be
the
here.
podcast.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
did you have a
having me.
good time?
All the best.
Thank
All
you
the best
so much.
to you
Thank
and Frappe.
Yes. And thank you so much for watching the podcast. We'll see you next time.